Alright, nagbabalik ang schoolmates at nandito pa rin tayo sa Mayamot National High School, Antipolo City! I love the energy. Thank you guys. Ayan, so schoolmates, lagi nating paalala na walang tama o maling sagot sa bawat debate ng ating ginagawa o bawat episode na ating ginagawa. Ito ay isang platform lamang para mapakinggan natin ang iba't ibang perspective ng ating mga kabataan tungkol sa mga issue ng ating bayan. Kaya bago tayo magsimula, atin munang pakinggan at panoorin ang ground rules at mechanics ng ating debate. Narito po.
May dalawang teams na maglalaban, ang Team Pro at Team Con, na may tig-3 miyembro. Ang team leaders ang unang sasalang sa ating debate. Para sa bawat tanong, may 3 rounds or lives ang bawat isa na may 30 seconds per speaker per round. Kapag sobrang intense at walang gustong magpatalo, we activate the bonus round. 1 minute and 30 seconds yan na free flow discussion. Meaning, bahala na magsagutan ang magkabilang panig. Pero kung halimbawa, hindi na makarebat ang naunang debater, pwede siyang mag-buzz para palitan ng ibang team member. Ito ang twist. Bilang mga host, may kapangyarihan kaming mag-buzz sa gitna ng laban. Kung medyo off, boring, o hindi kami satisfied sa sagot ng sinumang debater, we can buzz you out at papalitan ng ibang team member. Kaya make sure na hindi lang matalino ang sagot nyo. Dapat klaro, direkta at convincing. Bring your best arguments.
Alright, schoolmates, handa na ba kayo sa isang mainit na debate ngayong araw? Kaya atin nang simulan ang panimulang argumento mula sa ating mga team leaders. Sa ating unang katanungan, malaki ang naging usapin ng bayan pagdating sa pagbaba ng criminal age liability sa mga kabataan. Sa tingin nyo ba, ang hakbang na pagbaba nito ay makakatulong to end the violence sa ating mga kabataan? Car.
I believe that we should amend the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act into lowering the age criminal liability because young people is increasingly aware of their wrongdoings or rightful doings. So due to greater exposure like social media, internet. So if a minor can understand the complex technology, then they should be able to understand also, or they are capable of understanding also that it has the committing crimes has a severe consequences.
Alright, maraming salamat, Car. Anong masasabi natin doon, Russ?
We firmly believe that we firmly do not support the lowering of the age for criminal liability. Bakit? Dahil ang bata ay bata pa rin. According to neuroscience, ang prefrontal cortex ng isang bata ay hindi pa fully developed up until they are 25 years old. Kaya may risk sila na mag-act on impulse kahit na alam nila yung ginagawa nila. Kaya we firmly believe na dapat hindi ito babaan.
Dahil sa mga krimen na nagagawa ng ilan sa mga kabataan, I'm sure you've also heard the news and you are up to date sa mga nangyayari o naigagawa nga daw ng mga krimen ng mga kabataan. Iminumungkahi ni DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla ang revision o gawing mas komprehensibo ang Juvenile Justice Act. Sa tingin niyo ba na dito pa lang sa mungkahing ito ay masasabi na nating kulang, mahina, o hindi ganun ka-effective ang batas nito sa ating bansa?
I think that the implementation is not quite good because kung maganda yung batas natin, pero kung paano natin siya i-apply or kung paano natin gamitin yung implementation na yun, I think that is still a bad law. So I think that we should amend the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act so that it will be more efficient to us kasi lalo na sa generation natin, maraming nangyayari ngayon sa mga news and issues na yung mga bata ay gumagawa ng mga ganong krimen.
In the opposition side, we firmly believe na hindi na dapat ito baguhin pa. Dahil lahat tayo, meron na tayong may mga materials na tayo, may mga facilities na tayo, at sapat na ang batas para sa atin. And we need to utilize that. We don't need to have changes or bago pa. Dahil kailangan na lang natin ito patibayin. We have the resources that we need at ang implementation na lang ang kinakailangan para mas maging epektibo ito at hindi na mag-cause pa ng any violence.
Sa tingin nyo ba, masasabi natin na sa umiiral na batas or yung current na batas natin ngayon sa juvenile justice ay ini-impose lang natin ng maaga sa mga kabataan na hindi matakot sa sariling batas ng ating bansa? Do you think in terms of effectivity, dahil nabanggit mo kanina, hindi nga daw ito ganun ka-epektibo, sa ginagawa natin na mungkahi nito ni DILG Secretary ay mas magkakapangil nga ba ang batas? In what way, sa tingin mo, mas magiging effective ito? And in your case, nung sinasabi mo nga na hindi susi ang pagbaba ng criminal liability sa bansa, tingin mo ba may alternative method para mas matakot ang mga kabataan sa ating bansa when it comes to committing crimes? Car?
I think po, mas magiging effective po talaga kung bababaan natin yung age criminal liability. Why? Kasi yung mga nangyayaring issues na ay nagagawa na ng mga batang katulad na 10 years old and 12 years old is alam na nila yung mga ginagawa nila. So they know that these actions have severe consequences. So they eventually, kailangan nilang malaman yon at kailangan maging efficient to so that we can lower the age criminal liability age.
The alternative method para naman sa aming side ay dapat patibayin ang rehabilitation centers. Dahil according to research or the research of the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Council, 94% ay ang successful integration when it comes to rehabilitation. But only 6% ang may recidivism or reoffension. Kaya, kung titignan natin, mas magandang patibayin na lang ang mga facilities na mayroon tayo kaysa pababaan pa ang batas.
Sa tingin mo ba ngayong generation natin is efficient pa yung budget ng mga rehabilitation program? Sa nakikita ko kasi ay ang mga bahay pag-asa ay meron silang insufficient budget na nagsasabi dito na kulang yung resources and yung mga tools nila para i-guide yung mga batang nag-commit ng heinous crimes.
Now that you've mentioned it, ayun nga, insufficient nga yung funds at yung mga materials para sa mga bahay pag-asa. So anong dapat natin gawin? Dapat natin ito patibayan at dapat mag-focus dito ang mga government officials. Kasi hindi naman talaga dapat solusyon ang pagbababa ng batas eh. Pagbabinabaan natin ang batas, may sapat ba na ebidensya na ito ay epektibo?
Kasi kapag nag-stick lang tayo sa rehabilitation program, paano na yung mga victims? Paano na yung masiserve yung justice ng mga victims? Kung ilalagay lang natin sila sa rehabilitation programs and yung sa mga centers na yon, paano masiserve yung justice ng mga victims?
Ayun nga, ayun yung isa sa mga sad part when it comes to this topic.
Oh,
Kasi,
exactly.
no, wait. Pero kasi, ang justice lang naman ay hindi naman nakafocus lang sa pagpaparusa. Ito ay pag-focus para hindi na
It's
maulit
not a
muli.
punishment, it's accountability. It's an accountability of
Under the rule of law, magtitake sila ng accountability through rehabilitation na kung saan wala silang choice kundi umattend ng mga counseling ng rehabilitation para nga hindi na ito maulit. Kung ikaw ang tatanungin, mas gusto mo bang lumaki yung isang bata na nasa environment ng criminals or
Hindi naman natin siya tuturo.
associate ng criminals or mas gusto mong magkaroon ng rehabilitation itong criminal na to at mas mabigyan ng mas magandang pagkakataon para magkaroon ng mas magandang kinabukasan.
Ipagpapahiwalay natin yung mga criminals na adult sa criminal na mga bata. So, I think that hindi siya magiging efficient kung i-rehabilitate lang natin yung mga bata na nag-commit ng mga heinous crimes such as murder and rape.
Okay, thank you so much, Ross and Car. I think you've laid out your parameters well. Let's ask Edward and Gly to take it up to the challenge. Kanina nabanggit niyo na yung sarili niyong opinion kung bakit or kinino ba kumikiling ang justice system when it comes to lowering criminal liability? Is it pro-victim or pro doon sa kabataan na nag-commit ng heinous crimes? Now, and you've also mentioned something about the resources. So let's elaborate further. Is there data supporting na the resources that are insufficient is the sole purpose or sole factor rather kung bakit hindi effective ang juvenile justice sa bansa, or may iba pa bang factors tayong tinuturo kung bakit sinasabi nating hindi ganun ka-epektibo, or kung epektibo nga ba ito at bakit dapat mas dagdagan na lang yung resources na to? Gly.
Okay, well, according to the psychology of the child, these environmental factors are not the only solely things that we depend or yung mga bagay na nakaka-impluwensya sa kanilang mga desisyon. So, they actually have the intent or the interest they can act upon so they can commit these heinous crimes. So we are amending the law specifically for heinous crimes because these children don't have the deterrence enough to know what is accountability.
Okay, salamat Gly. Edward.
So ngayon, yung sinasabi natin na meron pang tinuturong ibang factors which is environmental factors, nawawalan ng suporta ng mga magulang yung mga kabataan na nakakagawa ng mga serious and heinous crimes. So according to PNP, from 2017, 26,000 yung mga kaso ng mga CICL. Bumaba ito into 5,000 in 2025. And how can you be so sure na pag binaba natin siya, like ibang bansa, Wales, England, Brazil, kahit na nagpatupad sila ng ganun, hindi nila napatupad ng maayos at meron pa rin problema.
Well, I firmly believe that good law doesn't make bad implementation because we firmly believe here, and I beg to disagree with you because we firmly believe that we have discernment. We propose the legal accountability for these children because we have to put them in an environment where they can learn what is the accountability. Because this happening right now is what lacks of fair accountability, and for the victim's family will say is that they lack the justice.
Okay. According to the data, we are failing because of the cases na parang sinasabi niyo tumataas daw yung kaya gusto niyong amendaan yung batas. According to Article 15 Section 3, the state shall defend the children and merong karapatan ang bawat children sa assistance mula sa gobyerno. And now, yun nga sinasabi natin na kailangan pa ng further investigation and further research bago natin i-implement yung batas kasi it further improves yung stigmatization sa lipunan.
Nais nga daw ng ilan na ibaba sa 12 years old ang criminal age liability sa mga kabataan, at ang ilan ay tutol dito sa dahilan na hindi nila alam ang kanilang ginagawa. Naniniwala ba kayo na sa ganitong edad ng isang kabataan, kapag nakagawa ng krimen, ay talagang hindi nila alam yung kanilang ginagawa or wala silang personal knowledge dito? What do we mean by discernment and what do we mean by accountability? Gly.
Well, for us, discernment is a legal task. Where the law asks the child, do you know what is right and what is wrong doing the action? So here, we propose that if you are ironically saying that these children do not have developed prefrontal cortex, well, according to the neuroscience, there is actually until 22 to 25 years old. So are you just ironically arguing that these 18 years olds too don't have the developed prefrontal cortex? So this means that they should be exempted from criminal liability?
Ngayon, karamihan ng mga age or karamihan ng mga kabataan na nasasangkot, yung mga CICL, pag tinanong mo sila, ano sa tingin mo yung tama o mali sa ginawa mo? Para sa kanila, it is subjective. Pwede natin sabihin na tama yung isang bagay, mali yung isang bagay, pero nasa perception yun ng isang bata. So ngayon, pag sinabi natin na 12 years old, sinabi natin na nakagawa ka na ng isang crime, di ba parang na sasabihan mo na parang ang bata-bata mo para sa gumawa ng ganong batas.
Okay.
Well, I believe na if you can commit a heinous crime, you have actually the mental capacity or the capability to know enough you're doing something wrong, because heinous is grave crime. So it means that you actually know in your subconscious that you know that what is right and you can differ what is right and from what is wrong. Because right now, children and teenagers are actually more exposed to technology and social interactions, which they understand more about this discernment or about this accountability.
So, doon na nga sinasabi natin, yung iba kasi mga bata, nag-a-act sila by circumstance. Meron tayong sinasabi na kung ano yung nakikita ng isang bata sa lipunan, yun yung ginagawa niya. Yun yung nagre-reflect sa personality niya. And ngayon, pag sinabi mo naman na merong sariling pag-iisip yung isang bata, yes, meron. Pero kapag naipit sila sa isang circumstance,
You actually said it yourself. Yes, meron. So, we actually argue here that if you have the capability to plan, to be cunning or to plan out your actions for murder, for infanticide, or for parricide, you can actually have the legal means, or you can have the capacity to think that you are doing something wrong, because what you came from does not justify your actions. And there's actually two people who can grow up from violent environment. It's the righteous one and it is the violent one. It is a matter of a
Okay.
choice.
Okay, maraming salamat Edward and Glay. Punta naman tayo kay Enrico and Tala. Kung hindi magkakaroon ng comprehensive revision ng Juvenile Justice Act, sa tingin nyo ba sapat ang mga intervention, ito nabanggit nyo na to kanina, at rehabilitation programs or facilities para sa ating mga kabataan na nakakagawa ng krimen? Tala.
In our side po, I believe that those rehabilitation center are really not enough for heinous crimes. Kasi yun po yung dinidiin namin heinous crimes. Kasi according sa data from Juvenile Justice Welfare Act, ang mga bahay pag-asa ngayon ay hindi nga sapat yung standard para sa mga children standard kung paano sila mabubuhay bilang righteous person. So that means hindi na nga enough yung rehabilitation center. Paano pa kaya magiging enough yun sa mga gumawa ng heinous crimes?
Actually, there's a data based off the naglabas ang Juvenile Justice Welfare Council that there is a massive 84% decline for the child in conflict with the law. This means it says that it is related to the criminal liability of the children, meaning that we succeeded on lowering the statistics of the child in conflict with the law.
Well, the statistic that you mentioned is 2017 to 2020 per right. But if we will look at the current statistic, which is 2025, since the 2026 is not released yet, there has been a significant raise from 2024 to 2025. That means nag-rise up na naman yung issue. That means nagkakaroon na naman ng mali sa batas. Or let's say na nag-rise na naman yung issue na pinaprotektahan nga ng batas yung mga criminal. That's why meron silang lakas na loob para gawin yung mga krimen na ginagawa nila.
Actually, there's a contradicting data about that. Ayon sa isang Inquirer data scientist, Dr. Rogelio Panao, isa siyang UP Diliman associate professor. He said that the increase of the CICL by 2025 it might cause because of the new wave of the post-pandemic instability. Meaning, it is because of an environmental factor kaya maaaring tumaas ang 2020.
So with this logic, are you saying that a 20 years old don't have a personal responsibility on what he's doing just because he was raised in an environment? So let me tell you, 20 years old, walang personal responsibility, because with that logic, you're saying that because every one of us nasalib tayo ng environment. And with that factor, you're saying environmental factor, wala rin bang personal decision yung mga matatanda ngayon dahil lang sa environmental factors?
No, doon na papasok ang child psychology. Ayon sa batas, kinakailangan ng discernment para ma-convict ang isang CICL. Ngayon, ang discernment is not just about knowing what is right or wrong. Ang discernment ay isang advanced mental capability, mental cognition, and requires a emotional control and legal capacity. This means hindi lang dapat alam ng bata ang tama o mali. this requires that they fully grasp what the consequences of their actions.
Okay, go.
Well, I think that na-misunderstand mo yung batas. Kasi sabi mo, iko-convict pag may discernment. And nakalagay na nga mismo sa batas, sa Chapter 1, Section 6, that 15 years old under is exempted from criminal liability. So technically staying here, if 12 years old committed a heinous crimes, malalagay na siya sa bahay pag-asa. Don't you think that is enough justice for the victims? Kasi if we're talking about human rights and children's rights is under the umbrella of human rights. If the children's right and human rights is opposing each other, what do you think is more right? At kakat nag-take na sila ng human rights ng isang bata, ano pa yung nangyayari sa
Yun
kanila?
na nga. Let me ask you a question. Kailan ba nagkakaroon ng karapatan ng isang tao? Isn't it from their birth? Ngayon, kung ang tao ay they take away someone's rights,
We're not taking away the
do they
rights.
deserve
No, we're not taking away their rights. We're just
no,
holding
ayun nga
them
yung sinasabi
accountable.
nyo eh.
No,
You
we're
want
not.
the CICL to don't have a right na ikulong na agad sila.
No, there's a misconception about that. Just because makukulong ka, wala ka ng human rights. Eh sa mga bata nga ngayon, if you were convicted and you're still undergoing an education, may education pa rin sa loob ng kulungan. Meron pa rin supervision. So what are you talking about na kukunin yung human rights or children's right ng isang bata kapag kinulong sila?
No, what you're saying kasi is it is unfair for the victim.
Yes,
But-
it is unfair for
no,
the victims.
actually-
Kumuha ka ng
actually,
buhay,
it's not.
tapos pupunta ka lang sa rehabilitation
Yes,
center.
they have existing rights. Kaya nga hindi dapat porket kumitil sila lang.
Okay. Sige, I think there's plenty of time to further refine your thoughts. Pero bago ang lahat, maraming salamat muna kay Tala and Enrico. Simula pa lamang yan dahil marami pang mainit na debate tayo mapapakinggan ngayong araw at maririnig pa natin ang perspective ng magkabilang panig dito sa Mayamot National High School, Antipolo City. So, lahat ng yan ay sa pagbabalik lamang ng Schoolmates.